Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from Mr. Man. The other day I was talking about the US Treasury, the IMF, and the World Bank. Here's the IMF discussing the tokenization of the financial system. Take a listen.
Thank you so much, Kristalina, for those introductory words. The topic of the panel is the tokenization of the financial system. And of course, being at the International Monetary Fund here, it is the international financial system that we have in mind.
And he's sitting there with Carstens from the BIS. And the BIS, every project they put out has XRP and RippleNet inside. It's built off of RippleNet technology. And the main players in tokenization of the financial system include Stellar and Ripple. Chris Larsen is on the high-level advisory group. Ripple has had numerous meetings with the IMF beginning in 2018. The IMF even called XRP and XLM stablecoins, moving value. In other words, they're not going to be pegged to $1 US. They're going to be high-valued stablecoins, moving value all around the world on a daily basis. And here's the World Bank. They say they need a fast, cost-effective bridge currency for cross-border payments, liquidity provision, and interoperability between CBDC stablecoins and other digital assets. That has XRP written all over it. You know, they never come right out and tell you, hey, we're going to utilize XRP. They never say it by name. Instead, they tell you what they need, and what they need describes XRP perfectly. And you already know the plan was created a long time ago. But now we're almost to the final product. That's why they're now talking about this openly on the mainstream media news. Because we are very close now. The banks are in. Take a listen to this.
Squawk Box this morning, banking regulators pulling back some U.S. cryptocurrency guidance. This is interesting, guys, because the Fed said it was withdrawing supervisory letters that said that banks should seek advance approval from authorities before engaging in crypto asset and stablecoin activities. In addition, the Fed, the FDIC, and the Office of the Controllers of the Currency pulled back statements from 2023 that urged banks to be careful when it comes to crypto-related risks. During the 2024 campaign for the White House, President Trump promised crypto investors that he would have their backs if he was reelected. In a statement announcing the latest changes, the Fed said that regulators would look into whether new guidance to support crypto asset innovation was appropriate. But
you ever take notice whenever they talk about crypto on the mainstream media news? They talk about it like it's something new that just happened yesterday. Like, in other words, crypto hasn't been here for all these years. They're so used to just talking about Bitcoin that when they say the word crypto, right away they talk like it shouldn't even be happening. That's what I hate about the mainstream media news. And they only ever want to talk about Bitcoin. But soon those conversations are going to end because XRP is eventually going to take the spotlight. Hoskinson confirms XRP integration into Cardano's Lace wallet. Lace, launched on the Cardano mainnet in April 2023, began as a secure and advanced wallet for Cardano native tokens, primarily supporting ADA and other assets built on the Cardano blockchain. However, Hoskinson has outlined the next evolution of Lace, becoming a truly multi-chain wallet. In a significant step towards that goal, he disclosed that XRP support is in the pipeline. This new feature will enable users of the XRP ledger to hold, send, and receive XRP directly through the Lace interface. While Hoskinson did not provide an exact launch timeline for this functionality, the announcement itself confirms that the development is underway and the relationship between Cardano and Ripple is warming. You know, there was a time where Hoskinson, he was very critical of XRP and Ripple. He pissed off a lot of people in the XRP community. But I honestly like the fact of Ripple and Cardano coming together. I like the fact that they're building things together. Same thing with Hedera, also coming together with Ripple, coming together with Cardano as well. I like this because they're all ISO cryptocurrencies. In other words, they're all ISO compliant. And they're all going to be working together anyway inside the new financial system. But I like the direction this is going in. And take a listen to Monica Long talking about the Hidden Road acquisition. Now I'm going to warn you, the sound sucks on this clip. Take a listen.
Important. Yeah, and you mentioned Hidden Road earlier, the acquisition. Yeah. I think you spent 1.25 billion on that. Yes. Is that an indication that Ripple's going to be more acquisitive going forward now?
Yes.
Good. So we can expect some more M&A to come.
Yes, more exciting things for sure. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, I think 1.25 billion marks it as one of the largest in crypto history. Being a crypto company, we stand alone as being an owner of a non-bank prime broker.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Hidden Road, like, I'm so bullish on having this tight, like, under one roof partnership at this point between a company that serves like hundreds of the highest volume trading financial institutions with our business, where we can be more of the blockchain tech infrastructure. And for them, I mean, they do $3 trillion annually. Revenue is super healthy, 100 million plus, and they can now get more risk capital using our balance sheet, so they can also grow their business exponentially.
And I have to ask you, maybe not in the current market, but I have to ask you about an IPO at some point. You know, Brad has said to me in the past, when the SEC issues are done, we can start thinking about an IPO. Maybe is an IPO in the cards for Ripple at any point soon?
At this moment, we have a lot of liquidity, so we do have billions of dollars cash on the balance sheet. We're in a really healthy position. We're in an acquisitive position, as you put it. So we're really just focused on growing the business.
So she confirms what Brad confirms, that there's not going to be an IPO in 2025. I think that's going to come later, but she's very bullish about Hidden Road, and so am I. And did you take notice she said that they have billions now in cash? Remember when Ripple just had $1 billion in cash? Now it seems like they have a lot more liquidity. And I'm very excited to see where this goes from here. $3 trillion annually, and they plan to grow out and expand even more. This comes from Smoke. Yes, Ripple's Hidden Road acquisition will expand RLUSD distribution and adoption of the XRP ledger, positioning it to eventually surpass Tether and Circle as a leading stablecoin. For Ripple, there are immediate and longer-term plays. RLUSD will use XRP to help add liquidity, and it's documented. RLUSD and XRP are going to complement each other. And as that's happening, the price of XRP is going to go higher, which is going to benefit us as XRP investors. Now, a lot of people are talking about this. Amazon's $1 trillion comeback, why XRP might be on a similar path and surprise everyone. Now, remember, Amazon crashed 95% back in 1999, and people thought it was over for Amazon. Now, XRP had a very similar crash back in December of 2020. That's when the Rippleverse SEC case started. So far, everything seems to be recovering very well. And I still think XRP has a lot of recovery to still do going forward. Do you honestly think the actual price of XRP is $2 and change? Absolutely not. Right now, XRP, if that Ripple versus SEC case never happened, XRP would be sitting somewhere between $8 and $13. So I'm expecting XRP to recover to that price point at some point very soon. I think beyond that, we start looking at utility. And I do believe that Ripple is going to be bigger than Amazon eventually. And I think XRP's market cap is going to be much higher than Amazon's market cap right now. But market cap really does not matter in crypto. This isn't the stock market. XRP has utility, and utility matters. Utility is what's going to get us to those very high price points. But I think in some ways, what's going on with XRP right now, it's very similar to Amazon's comeback. It also looks a lot like Tesla as well, because Tesla also battled it out with the SEC. Russia is launching crypto exchange for qualified investors. You know, this was the one thing I never wanted to see happen in the United States. So what Russia's doing is they're creating a cryptocurrency exchange for highly qualified investors, according to a report from local news agency Interfax on Wednesday. So you have to be a high qualified investor, and you got to be able to put up $1.2 million or at least have $600,000 to get started. When Gary was still at the SEC, I always thought the worst thing that can happen is he makes crypto investing only for accredited investors, kicking out all of retail out of crypto going forward. And I'm so glad that never happened, because it would have kept a lot of people out of this space forever. You know, the average 9-to-5 working guy or working girl can take a little bit of money week over week, get invested into crypto, and put themselves on the path to financial freedom. That's why I like crypto the way it is. It's open to everybody. You know, every day, if you just gave up that Starbucks coffee or that Dunkin' Donuts coffee and you put that money into crypto, it puts you on the path to financial freedom down the road. And they could start with just as a very small investment. That's what's great about crypto. Breaking news: Alabama drops case against Coinbase. State cease and desist order should not be issued over cryptocurrency staking services. So we have Oregon suing Coinbase and Alabama dropping their case against Coinbase. You know, these state-level lawsuits against crypto companies, it's absolutely ridiculous. They should never even be happening. Honestly, it's a lot of these states that were in line with Biden and what was going on with crypto for the last 4 years, the major crackdown that was happening. They're still trying to keep that alive. The problem is a lot of these cases are just going to get thrown out at this point, because at the federal level, with this administration, the United States is on the path to becoming a crypto hub. New York bill to accept cryptocurrency for state payments. So right now, they only mention Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. But I think they're going to accept other cryptocurrencies as well. The bill defines cryptocurrency as any form of digital currency in which encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units of currency and verify the transfer of funds, operating independently of a central bank. I'm sure they will accept XRP as well. XRP is not a security. But the fact that the fact that New York Is accepting cryptocurrency for state payments, that's a good path forward. I want to see that happen in other states as well. And it will, especially with institutional adoption. Because the institutions, they're going to be working with the states, they're going to be working with POS systems in stores. They're going to want like chains like Walmart to accept crypto, Lowe's, Home Depot, and so on. They're going to lead us down the road to mass adoption. And they're going to accept crypto for all kinds of payments. It's going to be for, local tax. It's going to be for state taxes. It's going to be used for paying your property tax and so on. We're just not quite there yet, but we're already on the path to this happening in every single state. And as it's happening, we're going to be getting rich off of this as XRP investors. We're already on the road to financial freedom. We're just waiting for it to happen. And until it does happen, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.